What's up everyone? Today we are unboxing the Mic Tuning Q1 RGBW Rock Light Kit. Get ready to glow up your ride.
All right, let's dive in and see what's inside the box. Now, Mic Tuning sent this to us and asked for an honest review, and that's exactly what we're going to give you. You know, Mic Tuning is a brand that has some innovative automotive solutions and some cool features. So,
let's get started.
Well, the first thing that, I've seen with a lot of Mic Tuning, we've got lots of stickers, different ways to display what you're using on your vehicle. We've got the Mic Tuning app instructions, and then Q1 RGBW Rock Lights user manual, and then a few more stickers, some more instructions, and inspection.
Boom, check these out. The Q1 Rock Lights. They've got a 150-degree beam pattern, wider than most, for that extra glow. Plus, you've got mounting hardware, cables, and connectors. Everything you need to install this like a pro.
Like Monk said, we've got these amazing looking lights. This is actually, you see 8 here. We actually have the 12 light kit is what they sent us. And then also control box, super easy wiring because you basically have your power, ground, fuse. They give you an external switch, which we probably won't be using since we have upfitter switches or our aux beam 6 switch panel. Other cool features from them is you have your own remote control. Now, you can use this in the vehicle, obviously, or outside the vehicle, which is really cool because you have your RGBW right here at the bottom of the remote, which is really cool. Gives you all of your modes, your strobe features. Super cool, but you can also use the app if you want a little bit more long distance range. And then like Monk was saying, we also have, again, all of the mounting hardware here. Looks to be like really nice material. Not sure if those are actually stainless steel or just, made to look like it, but definitely everything we should need. And again, more of these mounting pieces for the fender areas or just underneath your vehicle. Really, you can choose where you want to put these things anywhere in your vehicle, whether it's in the wheel wells, underneath it, engine bay. Yeah, you make it your own.
And a bonus, these Q1 lights have a music mode. They pulse and dance to whatever music you're playing. How cool is that?
On top of getting the lights, the control box, the remote control, the app, and all the hardware, you're also getting peace of mind from Mic Tuning with a 2-year warranty. So you're covered. Now, let's get these installed and light up your ride with confidence. So I've got everything unboxed. I just kind of want to show you what it all looks like when you get it all kind of unraveled. Now, these are our longer ones. Now, these are a little over 11 feet, and this is the 12-pod kit. Now, these 6 lights, obviously, we're going to go to the back of the vehicle. 2 per each wheel, and then you've got 2 that you could put underneath. Now, this is a universal kit, so the instructions are not great because you can mount them however you need to, whether it's a side-by-side, Bronco, Jeep, truck, whatever. But I say those are the back because up here, we've got the fronts. Now, again, we've got a 6-pod kit. So we've got 2 for the driver's side, 2 for the passenger side wheel well, and then 2 to go underneath if you so choose. Now, you can always put 3 per wheel, I guess, if you wanted to. But again, rock lights, you want to make sure you can see what's going on underneath your vehicle. And again, like I said, this is a universal kit. Not only is it for Broncos, Jeeps, trucks, side-by-sides. I mean, you can use this kit however you want. Now, I've already got one kind of put together over here and just give you a little bit better view of these lights. You've got those 6 lights inside each one, and the housings actually, just to go a little bit more in depth, they almost felt like they were aluminum, but I believe they are like a really hard plastic. Each one has these 2 screws, 2 washers, 2 nuts, and then you've got this rubber plate that you'll use to mount them. Now, you can pull the cord through here if you wanted to. They've also got, I believe, one over here in the corner, I've got them pulled through the back because I think the way we're going to mount them is through the fender itself, through the inner liner, and then keep the cords away from everything. And then you'll use the washer and the nut here to go through whatever you're using for an inner fender liner. Now, if you're using the OEM on the Broncos, it's kind of like a fabric cardboard type thing that you could probably just puncture a couple of holes in there to tighten this down, and then you're going to want to put a bigger hole. Now, the thing is, you're probably wondering, well, how do I pull that cord through? Well, up here, Mike Tuning's got you covered there too. Here are the connectors that go to this harness. So this is your front harness, basically, that goes to your control box. There's your rear one. Those do not disconnect, but all here, these are waterproof connectors. We've got the little slides that'll come down and you can twist them locked. All of these are IP68 rated for water and snow and just nasty weather. So we've got all that. So now we just need to get this all mounted. The other thing is too, we've got our connector here for power. Now, showing you a few things again. We've got our little pucks here again. Here's what it looks like without a light mounted on it. Nice thing about this is it's going to give you some vibration harshness and noise reduction from those things flopping around. And you can see the little cutouts they have for the wires to go if you don't want to go through the fender, I guess. If you want to leave those wires exposed, make it a little bit easier. We also talked about your remote. So you've got this to control lights and that, but you've also got the app like we talked about. And then here is what you're going to connect to the control box. Now you've got a power switch here. You've got a 7.5 amp fuse in that little fuse block. So we won't be using the switch. What I plan on doing is to run this to our auxiliary switches, or actually the aux beam switch housing that we have. Should be very simple. Take the power and ground to that box. That's powered straight to the battery. And then we don't need to worry about drilling a hole through our dash or anything like that to control this. You could also go straight to the battery, I think, because you have obviously the power and the ground, and be able to control this just with, the on-off button here on your controller here or on the app. I would think you'd be able to do that. Maybe not. But we're going to use the auxiliary switches to put all this in. So what I'm doing now is I've got the inner fender liners out that we have. If you didn't see that video, we'll post a link up top. But these are from Hook Road, specifically made for the 2021 and newer Broncos. But they're steel inner liners. So I'm using my little punch here to get holes started, or at least a punch made so I can drill out, because I'm just using this puck that they give you for reference on how wide the holes are. And I'll just use a little bit to make a hole for the screws. And then I think use about a 1/2 inch bit here to make the center hole, because we will pull the lines through the inner fender and then kind of just tuck them up on the frame. Maybe use some zip ties, things like that. We'll show you what we use, but hopefully we'll be able to get these all wired up here, hopefully fairly soon. So you can see I got our 3 holes made, 2 small ones for the bolt and washer and nut to go through, and then 1 for the line to actually run through. And I took my step drill bit too and kind of took off all the edges on both the front and the back side of this hole, because we definitely don't want it chafing the wire. I know it has a protective coating on it, but just figured take that extra little step to get that cleaned up so it doesn't hurt anything. So let me get the wires run through, get the lights put on this, and we can reinstall it. Taking this one apart because I've put that little rubber puck on the back, and really the rubber puck that they give you is for, you're mounting it to somewhere where you can't put holes through to get the wire through. Just gives you a way to keep it flat on the backside and pull the wire through kind of underneath the light. So when you're in your fender wells, that's pretty flat back there already. So So we won't really need the puck itself. We just need to mount the light directly to it. And the nice thing is on the inner fender wells, if you get some real good articulation, you really don't want that tire just smashing against the light. So we'll get it as flat as we can and as high up as we can so that doesn't happen. So gotta get this puck off, wire this thing up. All right, you can see here we've got our rear lights mounted. I've got them mounted inward. The thought is that if I've got them mounted inward and the tire is really articulating going up in there, less likely that we're gonna hit those lights. So hopefully my thought process is correct there. We've also got the other ones just mounted underneath here. Now I've only used zip ties and magnets at this point because I'm not sure exactly how I want to mount those, because on the Bronco, like I'll show you here, I was thinking about riv nuts into the rock rails, but that just seems really, I don't know, it's going to be flat here, so you won't really, it'll be shining straight down. I thought maybe at an angle would be better. So we've got them here. We're just using some magnetic tabs here, and these are really for wire looms and that if you want to, you know, put them against the vehicle without having to drill holes. It's a great way to use them. So we just got these mounted here right now, and then I've got the other one right up over here, again using magnets, and they're kind of angled in. Now, since we've got our rear passenger side, we've got the rear driver side done the exact same way. Last one I've got to put in is our inner fender liner. This is something we're working on currently for us, for Monkey Biz Off-Road. So looking at making aluminum inner fender liners and that. But anyway, we'll get to that at another later date. We're still testing these. But you can see where we've got those drilled and they go through, which is kind of nice. Got our wiring coming through. I've used those magnetic zip ties again here. Again, just trying to keep the wires out of the way. Well, we've got everything buttoned up. You know, we've got all the wiring put together with all the lights coming to it. We've got the module underneath here. Now, we were going to hook it up to our aux beam switch panel here, but the problem is we were getting 12 volts, a little over 12 volts of power to it, but each circuit wasn't showing anything going to it. So we've got an issue there. So we end up putting it directly to the battery, which they give you the connectors to do that, and that worked out really well. Everything was working. I did a little dry run and everything is looking good. So now I just need to wait till it gets a little bit darker out and show you what these lights look like. I'm really excited because they are 6 LEDs per. We've got the remote control, we have the app. Kind of looking forward to it, and just the price point of this again is really affordable if you're just looking for even the 8-pod light kit. So probably looking around 150, 160 bucks for the 8-pod. The 12-pod I think is around 190 to 200. Probably more than I need, but that's what Mike Tuning sent me. One thing I can say is I wish that these were a little bit longer, but we'll get over that in the end. So let me get this out. We'll show you what it looks like tonight, come back and give you our final thoughts. Really, the app, you can really customize what you want to see, which is really cool. I really like the idea that you can put on your own, colors, and have yours going. There we got the colors we got kind of for our channel with. Love that. Yep. And we can go a little bit faster. Let's go a little bit slower. But see, you can change how you've got the color set up and that, which is really a lot of fun. And really, these LEDs with the 6 LEDs per pod are really bright. I love that about these. I mean, they're not really chintzy looking. They're really well made and they're really bright. So let me give you my final thoughts on the Q1 RGBW lights from Mike Tuning. Well, I was really impressed with how bright those lights were. Had to find a good parking lot. It was kind of hard to see the Bronco itself, but I really wanted to show off the lights. And each pod having 6 LEDs, super bright. This kit is easy to put together, but there's a but to this as well. Wiring it all up is super easy. We did have a problem with our aux beam switch panel. We're getting power to the box, but we're not getting any power to each individual circuit. So I need to figure that one out. So we ran it straight to the battery. Super easy because they give you the connectors to do that. If you don't have upfitter switches, you can do it this way. If you want to switch, they have a switch available with the kit. The remote's really handy to have. The app is really simple to use, as I was showing you. But that's kind of where it all ends for me. I mean, everything was easy to install. One thing is, I wish the instructions were better, letting me know what those little pucks really are for. We kind of just used them the way we wanted to. I understand it's like a universal kit, but just would have been nice to have a little bit more instruction on how this kit kind of goes together. The wiring to me is I almost can't look at it because there's so much wiring. I would say if Mike Tuning is watching this, the leads coming off the module, if you made those longer and only had one wire going that way with your connectors on it, that we could get down into a fender, and then the same on the driver's side, getting it down, and then just bring all the lights to those, that would really help us, clean up the look. Because we'd be able to, attach them to the frame rails, or I know they've got the harnesses from the factory going up and down the frame rails. You could zip tie them to that. Just keep everything a lot cleaner looking. I do appreciate that they're all weatherproof connectors. I appreciate as well that they do have extensions available. For $19.99, you get 2 extensions that are 10 feet each. But with that, I would also say, Mike Tuning, if you were able to make a 5-foot and a 10-foot extension, that would be helpful, because I didn't need, most of the time, 10 feet of wiring. You can see here I've got probably a good 6 feet left here. So didn't need all that, and it would just clean all this up a lot more. And, the lights were easy to install. They're really bright. So there are just a few little things as far as the installation process and the instructions that I think could be better, but the lights worked great, and for the price point, you really can't beat them. I know this 12 pod light kit from Mike Tuning was under $200. Maybe you don't need 12, maybe you only need 2 lights per wheel well. Get the 8 light kit. You're probably getting down to about $150, $160, which is a really inexpensive kit, especially for everything you're getting with the app and the remote control and things like that. So I like the kit. I just wish there are a few things that I'm going to try to figure out about cleaning up the wiring myself. But hopefully you've appreciated this video. If it did help you in looking for a light kit, hit that like button. Let other people know. It's a video you can watch and get an honest review. Also, if you're running a light kit, put a comment down below. Let me know what you're running, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And then also, if you're not a subscriber, smash that subscribe button, because Monk and I are constantly looking for tips, tricks, and products that we use on our Bronco that you can use on yours. As always, though, thanks for watching and have a blessed day. Bye.